All right, everybody. Shalom and welcome. This is your alternative halftime show from the Holy Land. Okay, I know you're watching the game, but you need a little Torah and a little bit light from Judea and Jerusalem. And so this is your halftime show. Shalom. And before we get to the halftime show, let's get to your voices. And I want to hear from you guys. So do me a favor and signal to me that you're alive and well. Let me know where you're from and your blessings. I want to see you guys on the comments. Now let's get this thing going because there's a big halftime show. Everybody's watching the game, and we got to send the signal about the light and about what's really happening from the land of Israel. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. All right, here we go. Here comes the folks. Here's Peter, says, Shalom from New Zealand. Shalom, Peter. And Nachi goes big right from the get-go. He says, we need somebody like Rav Meir Kahana. Nachi, take it easy. Take it easy. Let's start a little bit slower today and say hi from where you're from, that kind of thing. You're right. You're right. It's all good. But let's warm it up a little bit. Okay, we got Shalom from Toronto. We got Shalom from and love from Mexico City. We got from, is this a joke? Kalamazoo, Michigan. Kalamazoo. I got a zoo over here. It's called the Knesset. All right. But you're from Kalamazoo. That's awesome. Shalom, Laura. So cool. Kalamazoo. I should make that into like one of my logins, Kalamazoo. That's so cool. Okay. Shalom from Germany. Guten Tag and blessings. Shalom from Wyoming. Shalom from Chicago. That's what I'm talking about. People from all over the world. Here's Santa Barbara, California, and London. And people are coming in from all over. Oh, and McKinney. I know McKinney. McKinney's very close to, I think McKinney's very close to Sherman, Texas, where my wife's family's from. All right. And of course, our indomitable Yo, our producer, says shalom, everybody. Shalom to you, Yo, as well. Let's get to work, folks. And thank you very much for the blessings. Shalom to Western Australia. Shalom to from SC. Is that South Carolina? Probably. And shalom from the Golan Heights. All right. All right. Very good. All right. So we got Western Australia and Golan Heights and New York and Plymouth, England. That's awesome, Plymouth, England. I didn't even know there was a Plymouth in England. I thought it was only in America. There you go. You see? From Plymouth to Plymouth. Okay. From Sodom, Minnesota. Is that a real town name, or is that how you're describing Minnesota these days? I'm not sure about that. But if it's a real town, Sodom, Minnesota, then hi to all the folks living in Sodom. I don't know if you actually mean that. I want to know if you mean that. Yes, indeed. McKinney is south of Sherman. That's right. Anchorage, Alaska. Wow, cool. I've been watching those outdoor boys, outdoor brothers, or outdoor guys videos. They're really, really fun. Not a real town. Minnesota is just like Sodom, filled with sodomites. Okay, we're starting heavy today. I see we're not taking it easy. We're making it big today. We're going all the way. Hold on just 1 second, friends. I got to turn off this heat here. Oh, here we go. Okay. Very good. All right. Well, Shavua Tov, everyone. And Shavua Tov to all of you guys out there, wherever you are. Okay. Today, I want to provide folks that are watching the Super Bowl with an alternative way of thinking and feeling about the land of Israel. Let's start first with a video. We're going to be doing a lot of videos today. Let's start with a video that is the big talk of the town. That Robert Kraft has crafted a video to fight anti-Semitism that's going to play on the Super Bowl. Paid a lot of money for it. And Xavier writes, "What's a Super Bowl?" You know what? Let me top that, Xavier. Let me tell you. My dad once said to me, he goes, "What is Super Bowl? What is it? I don't know what it is." So, and it was like because we were driving and there was nobody on the roads. So that was my dad. God bless him. His memory should be blessed. Shalom to Louisville. Shalom to England and the good folks at the Netherlands. I just want you to know that I'm growing beautiful tulips from the Netherlands that were given to me from a Dutch organization, and so that's really fun. By the way, I just want to tell you that I had a little injury today. I look the same right now, but my toe is wrapped up. I had a giant rock fall on my toe. It was it hurt. It hurt. Thank you, Hashem. It hurt. It hurt. It hurt. My toe still hurts, and I'm like barely bending it and stuff like that. And that was it was in the process of trying to understand Eretz Israel, and I just walked to a place that was dangerous, and it was like, and then I tried to climb on a wall, and I pulled down the wall started falling on me, and I started backing up as I landed on a not landing type area, and then a big rock came tumbling down and smashed on my toe, and so I have to be very, very thankful to Hashem that the toe is ostensibly not broken, um, but it hurts. Baruch Hashem. And it's okay to get some pain for Eretz Israel, but ouch, it definitely hurts. So yeah, it was like an old building, and I was climbing a wall just to go see what's on top. Suddenly, this thing, like, I pulled it, it started pulling down, and then the rock started tumbling. It wasn't a great moment. It was not a great moment. Okay, I can see a lot of people here are already, in a hot mood. Writes Pooh Bear 2025. It is sickening to me to see the rise of anti-Semitism in my country and others. I never thought I would see this in my lifetime. That's very sad for you, and I understand why you feel this way. And what anti-Semitism is God leaving his blessings, pulling back his blessings from a place. Any place that even is brainwashed to hating Jews, the blessings leave that place. That's just the way it is. The blessings leave that place because loving the Jewish people and giving them safety is a way of channeling the blessings to a place. When there is hate for the Jewish people, hate for Israel, well, the spigot shuts off, and it's no longer a place that has God's presence, because the Jewish people are not welcome there anymore. And that's on the one hand. There's another hand. The other hand is that anti-Semitism is also a way to bring the Jewish people back home. And the Jewish people are being ingathered, and the ingathering of the exiles is the greatest single revelation of what God is doing in this world. And it may be a bigger miracle than the splitting of the Red Sea and the receiving of the Torah at Sinai. It may be bigger than that, because that 2,000 years, remember, the exile was, according to the biblical narrative, 400 years or 430 years. And then according to the Jewish count, it's a little bit different, 210 years. Bottom line is, it was hundreds of years. This is 2,000 years of exiles. 2,000 years of exile. And so that God is bringing his children back home to the land, it is the most incredible blessing there is. There's no greater blessing than that. And therefore, when we don't see it and we're not part of it, and by the way, do Jews have to live in the land of Israel? No. Can Jews keep Torah and be observant outside of the land of Israel? Yes. Is there different modes in history? The mode of exile mode and the mode of the land of Israel mode? Yes. We've been in exile mode. Now God is building up his land, bringing his presence to the land, and in gathering his children. And so the question is simply, do you want to be part of it or not? And so anti-Semitism is sad. It really means that it's the end of whatever empire is now sick with anti-Semitism. And by the way, look at the Arabs and their anti-Semitism. It has not done well for them. No, it has retarded their efforts, stymied their blessings. But anti-Semitism is a way to shut down a blessing in a certain place. It's also a way to bring the Jewish people back home. The single biggest Jewish community outside of the land of Israel is the United States, and that community has done a lot for Israel. And here's the third way to understand it. And I told this recently to a reporter from The Atlantic. I said, check out these groups who have basically done their part, and now their part is done. One of them is American Judaism, American Jewry. It's done a huge amount for the rebirth of Israel. But now their role is done because the baby is grown up and it's on its own. And so their historic role is finished, just like French Jewry's historic role is finished. And so is British Jewry, which was a very important Jewry for the state of Israel. Its role is finished. And now the time has come for American Jews for their role to be their spark, their golden age. It's done. It's done. I'm not saying that they're evil and they're wrong. And I'm not saying I'm not saying all these bad things. I'm saying that the historic role of helping Israel develop has been achieved. Now Israel's on its own, and therefore a certain point to what American Jewry had to do in this world, its role is done. So too, the secular Israeli left. It had an incredibly important role, incredibly important. That role was to give back the characteristic traits of language, the Hebrew language, of a military, of farming, of statecraft, and that historic role of pushing religion away so that we could focus on what's the word I'm looking for? Putting back into our Jewish consciousness these characteristic traits, breeding them back in. Well, the secular Israelis did a great job about that, right? They helped revive, thank you, Yo, revive those characteristic traits. But then now that we've got those characteristic traits, you don't really expect the Jewish people to stay secular. That's not going to happen because Jews are not secular. Jews are God-believing people. That's what we were created to do. It's so funny to me. People are like, harumph, harumph, harumph. Israel was created as a secular state. Are you dumb? Israel may have been created as a secular state, but the mission of the Jewish people, the reason the Jewish people were created is to worship God and to be witnesses to God. Sorry, that's our historic role. You could try to, you could try to make it something else, but that's our historic role. Okay, so now back to anti-Semitism. Here is the ad that was created by Robert Kraft that's going to play tonight in the during the U.S. Super Bowl.
Bro, look at it.
Did you see that?
Should we tell him?
So bad.
Oh my gosh.
It's not funny.
Stop.
Do not listen to that.
Thank you, man.
I know how it feels.
Okay, so this video, certainly this video did not wow me. This idea that the black guy standing up for the Jewish guy, it's a beautiful idea. It's a nice idea. But is this a strong video that you're like, yeah, I got to stand up to Jewish hate? I think there's another part to this video though. Why don't I see the other part of this video? I don't see another. There was another part to this video. Where's the part that they're about to go fighting with the anti-Semites, and then they just decide it's not worth it? Anyway, the whole internet is afire talking about this video. First thing, what is this blue box? So says Rodrigo. He says he is portrayed as defenseless. Yeah, look at that face. Look at that Jewish kid's face. It's like, oh, he's like Woody Allen. He's like Woody Allen face. What is this Woody Allen face? What? We have a Jewish state, a butt kicking Jewish state. Hello. Where's the don't mess with us? And of course, the internet has been aflame with this, and people have made their alternatives. Check out this one.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking, the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, dot, dot, dot. Cooking up dope in the crock pot. We came from nothing to something, nigga.
Okay, so Chana from the tribe obviously puts out a very different video. Hers is a very big, badass Jew who is out there. And Rodrigo is right. The first guy's portrayed as defenseless and says, Sandra, we refuse to be victims and we don't need to be. And that is really, and look, even here, everybody's like, I don't think this video will do much to combat Jew hatred. And somebody else writes, so disappointed. And it's right. It's like, and what's sad is, and let's watch these two things together. Let's watch them again. Right. Let's watch the original video.
Bro, look at it.
Did you see that?
Should we tell him?
So bad.
Oh my gosh.
So nobody likes this kid. He's like a loser. Like everybody's looking at him. And look at his face that he has. He has this face like I'm a victim and I just got to get through this hardship.
It's not funny. Stop.
Do not listen to that.
Thank you, man.
I know how it feels.
2 in 3 Jewish teens have experienced anti-Semitism. Where's the message? And my producer is always talking about this. Where's the message? Send this boy to the Israeli army. Let him feel like what it is to be a defender of the Jewish state. Where's the message that says like, we are an eternal nation and the world respects and fears us. And anti-Semitism is just a blip, but Israel's awesome, and you should just be proud and strong. Okay, so this was version 1, and I liked the alternative version. I liked it also.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking, the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, dot, dot, dot. Cooking up dope in the crock pot. We came from nothing to something, nigga.
And the Trias message is like, don't mess with us. We're the don't mess with us country. This like, it's just a here somebody writes, Israel's not a nation of fear. Exactly. Second one is way better. In our and somebody writes, and our present young generation is a generation of giants. It's true. It's just, you know what I mean? And it's like, and these wealthy people are surrounded by folks who don't like tell them the truth. Like somebody's got to tell Robert Kraft, be like, bro, like you've got a football team. Why do people like them? Because they're awesome, because they're strong, because they're victorious. You see what I'm saying? Like the guy owns a football team, right? He's the owner of the New England Patriots, right? And it's like, what makes that brand appeal? But when it comes to the Jewish thing, it's like, dude, where's the Patriots? Where's the patriot? Where's the strength of it? I just imagine a video that's like, Jewish people have been persecuted for 2,000 years, and we've survived all of them, all those persecutions, and now we're back in our homeland, like an American Indian getting back his homeland. We're like indigenous and back prophetically, and we got tanks and jets, and God's arm is with us. We strike at our enemies, and they mess with us from Gaza, and we boom. We push them back. I wish more, but still the message, like a big message. Here, the message is like, I'm being abused. And then, So here, right? Larry writes, look, Larry writes, Robert Kraft bluntly is a wealthy Jewish American who's devoted to the U.S. What's the surprise? Okay, but I'm asking you, Larry. I'm asking you. Doesn't Robert know how the Patriots look cool? He does. He should have hired the person who's doing the media for Patriots, right? The Patriots is not like I'm Tom Brady, and sometimes I get sacked. I get sacked sometimes. But Baruch Hashem, thank God, I got like this guy to defend me and my, my whatever, I don't know the football terms. I got my, my defenders to defend me. Like, come on, be big, be bold, be awesome. All right, let's clean our palate from non-big, non-awesomeness with the following rabbi. Check this out. This is Rabbi Shmuel Eliyahu. He is one of Israel's leading rabbis, and he's a rabbi. He's the chief rabbi of Tzfat. Okay? Let's see what he's got to say. 1 second. Here we go. I want you to hear this. Let's do this right. Let's set this up right. So this is the rabbi, and here's what he has to say. He says, I don't go up to the Temple Mount. I hope that one day I will, for rabbinic reasons. But a friend of mine told me recently, says the rabbi, my friend that goes a lot to the Temple Mount, like myself, goes to Temple Mount. He says a miracle has been taking place on the Temple Mount. A big miracle. He says the amount of Arabs that go to the Temple Mount has been reduced by a half. They have self-reduced themselves by a half. There's a lot less Arabs going up to the Temple Mount, in short. And all the time we see them coming in less and less and less. And he did not understand why there's so fewer amount of Arabs going up to the Temple Mount. So my friend asked one of the important Arabs there, one of the important Arabs on the Temple Mount, he said, tell me. He says, why is it that the amount of Arabs that go up to the Temple Mount has been reduced? What is the reason for that? He says, let me answer. The Arab says to his friend, let me answer you. Not only do you see that, but we also feel that as well, that there's a great reduction in Arabs wanting to go up to the Temple Mount. So the reason we think that there's so fewer people that are going up to the Temple Mount is because you began to prostrate yourself, to bow down on the Temple Mount. On the ground, you prostrate yourself there now on the Temple Mount to the Lord, the Most High, the God in heaven, the Holy One be He, God Almighty. When we see you, says the Arab, when we see you bowing down to God, we are afraid. We're afraid of you. We're afraid of you, Jewish people. When we see you bowing to God on the Temple Mount. Now listen very, very carefully to the next phrase, because this is Middle East talk. You're not going to hear this in America or during the regular halftime show. No, you won't. Here's what he says. The reason that we are fearing you, I'm going to go back just a little bit. The reason that we fear you, say the Arab, because you surrender yourself to God. You nullify yourself to God, and therefore we become afraid of you. You're not going to hear that in the American halftime show. That the reason the Arabs are afraid of us is because we nullify ourselves before the Lord. You're going to hear that in America? Is anybody going to explain that to you? That the Arabs going to be afraid of you when you nullify yourself before the Lord? Not when you show up with the tanks, not when you show up with the missiles and the jets, but when you prostrate yourself in front of the Lord, when you are nullifying yourself, submitting yourself before God, the Arabs are afraid of you. Do you understand that? If you nullify yourself before God,
מי יכול עליכם?
Who can defeat you? Nobody can defeat you.
אז אנחנו לא באים יותר.
What was that last thing you said? Let me hear that. I didn't hear what he said.
אז אנחנו לא באים יותר.
אז אנחנו צריכים מה? מה הרב? לא שמעתי. אז אנחנו לא באים יותר. Oh, so the Arabs say, now that we see that you guys are prostrating yourself, we're no longer coming up to the Temple Mount. So that's what it is. That's what it is. And that's Jewish power. Imagine if the ad would have been like, and we're going up to the Temple Mount. Imagine if that Super Bowl was like 2,000 years of exile. Israel is back. Back, baby. Back and strong and pushing back on bad guys throughout the region. The Iranians want us to free them, liberate them. The Syrians are thankful. The Kurds, the Druze, everybody wants Israel, the liberation nation, to be closer to them. Remember that ad when I was a kid? It was about a supermarket called D'Agostino. Please, Mr. D'Agostino, move closer to me, right? That was an ad when I was a kid. Now it's like, oh, Israel, please move closer to me because I need you here. I need you close by. I need you close by. And that is good. That is strong. Okay. So listen, I think we got already a good sense of the halftime show. I can close it off here. I could close up the show, but we still have many more things to review with you. The point is to be big, baby, big in everything though. And this is what I want to also explain. I find that a lot of people don't understand that the real way with the jets and the tanks is that it is actually not in conflict with observance, with belief in God and faith. It goes along together. That's what King David is. He goes along together. He's got the fastest technology, the sling, and he's got God and faith. Those things go together. That's what Israel is. So sometimes I hear religious people be like, why are we talking about tanks and planes when we got to just trust in God? Okay. And then I hear tank people be like, stop talking about, God, we need to have the cutting edge technology. We need both. Those go hand in hand with one another. And that's the way to really think about it. Okie dokie. Let's go on, friends. Let's go on. We have a lot more to do. The rabbi, thank you, Rabbi Shmuel Eliyahu, for teaching us about how the Arabs think around here. Okay, hold on one second. What happens if I exit this layout? 1 second. What happens when I hold on just 1 second. I want to just get something here for a second. Oh, hello to you. It's Yishai. I hope you're going to enjoy that Super Bowl. And before we enjoy that Super Bowl, well, we got to say howdy to one another and send love from the Holy Land, from the heartland of the Holy Land. And there's nobody who's better to send blessings from the heartland of the Holy Land than Ambassador Huckabee. He gets it. He gets the heartland. He gets the Holy Land. He gets all the different sides of it. And here he is recently in Tel Aviv, working very hard to bring more non-Jewish tourists to the land of Israel. And here he is explaining what it's all about. So check out Ambassador Huckabee, who I think is a great ambassador for us today for the halftime show.
Thank you very much. What an honor to be here. And I want to say I had an opportunity to preview that incredible app last night. Avi Hines sent it to me, and I thought, this is amazing. This is one of the most practical tools that I've ever seen for people who are planning to make a trip to the Holy Land. So congratulations, Reichman University, the premier university, perhaps in the whole world, but certainly in this land. And students from there have developed this interactive app that is second to none. Honestly, I think it's going to be officially launched today. Is that correct, Javier? So later today, I'm going to get on it and start planning trips for all my friends. I want to begin by saying that for me, trips to the Holy Land, trips to Israel started in 1973. And I look around this room, that was before most of you were born. I came to Israel right out of high school before I went to college, just a few months before the Yom Kippur War, although none of us knew the Yom Kippur War was about to happen. Probably wouldn't have come if I'd known that was on the horizon. But I'm glad I did, because I fell in love with this land. In 1981, I started bringing groups of people because I wanted them to experience what I experienced. And over the years, I made over 100 trips to Israel, most of the time bringing American pilgrims to come and see the land. Tens of thousands of Americans through the years. When the president asked me to come to be ambassador of the United States to Israel, it is the only thing he would have asked me to do that I was willing to say yes to. I was living a good life in the private sector, part of which was bringing people here and owning a tour company that did that. If he'd asked me to do anything else, I'd have said, no, sir, thank you, appreciate it, but I don't want to oil the machinery of some bloated bureaucracy in Washington. Have no interest in it. But he didn't ask you to do that. He said, I want you to go. But he didn't ask me. He told me I was coming. You have to understand, President Trump never asked you to tell Keith. So he said, Donald Trump, you want digital. You're going to be ambassador. You're going to go there. You're going to do great. You do great. Not as great as your daughter. She's better than you. I've always his press secretary the first term. He always tells me that she's better than me. I don't even argue with him because he's right. But he told me I was going to come, and I couldn't say no. For me, I called it an Isaiah moment. Here am I, Lord, send in. And so less than a year ago, my wife and I came with our 2 dogs. We took up residence in Jerusalem, went to work with the embassy with an amazing team of wonderful people. And we get to serve the 700,000 Americans who live in Israel. I'm excited that tourism is beginning to come back. I tell my friends back in the States, if you ever thought about coming to Israel, come right now. Because tourism is down so substantially because of the war and all the tension in the area. But places that I'm now going, that I'm walking right into, whether it's a restaurant or a hotel or one of the incredible biblical sites, there's no line. There aren't hundreds of tour buses lined up waiting to get in. So I tell people, come. Now the question I always get is this, is it safe? And I said, it's very safe. I feel completely at home and comfortable and safe in Israel. And I've always felt that way. There may be tension in various places. My gosh, we had that in the States. Over the course of the coming months, I know it takes time to get the tourism industry restarted. People have to make plans, months, sometimes more than a year in advance, to be able to get their airline seats and all of their reservations and get their tour groups together. But it's going to come roaring back. And what they're going to discover is what I discovered in 1973, 53 years ago. They're going to discover a place that is absolute magic, a place where they will see with their own eyes the things that they only saw on the pages of the Bible before. And I always say that before you come to Israel, you've read the Bible in black and white. And it's a wonderful book in black and white. Once you've come here, you walk the land for the rest of your life, you will read the Bible in 4K living dynamic color. And that's a reason that anyone, whatever age, whatever faith, will find this to be one of the most incredible experiences ever to have. So congratulations to all who are bringing tourism back, and I especially want to say congratulations on this fantastic AI app, the Holy Land AI, that if you have not, I don't guess you've seen it because they're only introducing it this afternoon, but later today, tonight, or tomorrow, make sure you go and take a look at this technology and start planning a trip for your friends and your relatives from wherever you may have friends or relatives. God bless you, and thank you.
Okay, absolutely beautiful. Great words. I love that imagery, right? You get to, if you read about it, you're reading about it in black and white. If you come to the land, you're going to see it in 4K dynamic color. That's awesome. And you're going to see it for the rest of your life like that. So that is awesome. Thank you very much, Ambassador Huckabee, for being part of our halftime show today. And keep up your great work of fighting against the hate by bringing a lot of love and a lot of connectivity to millions of people around the world, and certainly to the United States. Thank you very, very much. Okay, I want to also thank the folks who are starting the process of sending us a super chat. Super chats make a big difference. And I want to thank Israel Bethel, who writes, it's a spiritual battle. We are witnesses of Hashem. Amen. And also Mr. Persnickety, who has become a YouTube member. Thank you very much. And you guys can really join up and support our show through the efforts to through your efforts, through signing up, becoming a member, liking, commenting, and going to Yishai Fleischer TV, and also through doing super chats as we talk about it, as we talk about the land of Israel, as we send you blessings from the land of blessings here. All right. That was fun to wear the hat, huh? I missed the hat. All right. Okay. We have a lot more to talk about. Don't you be doubting that for 1 second. We got a lot to talk about. And there are some people who are doing a little bit of proselytizing on our channel. We don't allow that because this is an Orthodox Jewish channel that is absolutely reaching out to the nations with love. But we don't allow proselytizing of other religions on our comments. It makes it an unsafe place for folks coming here and feeling uncomfortable, and therefore we ask for no proselytizing on our comments, and makes for just a friendlier dynamic for everybody. Let's agree to agree. There's so much we can agree on, and let's hang out together and talk about the things that we agree on. If we try to force our theology on another person, it's not going to feel comfortable. And don't forget, there are many, many channels that give you that other perspective. Here we have a Jewish channel and blessings from the land of Israel through the Torah. Baruch Hashem. All right. Now, what video should we cover right now? Here we go. We did Rabbi Shmuel Eliyahu. We talked about the temple. We talked about that ad. Let's listen to my good buddy Jake Bennett as he talks about the name West Bank in front of the Arizona, I think it's State Senate. There was a discussion there. And here is my good buddy Jake Bennett giving them some truth to power. And that's what he's amazing at.
Jacob, come on up. Welcome. Name and who you're with. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Jake Bennett. I'm a Phoenix resident and regional director for Stand With Us. I think that my friends have summed up beautifully the history and truth of the names Judea and Samaria. I wanted to make a comment on the name West Bank, because the name itself is a linguistic attempt at erasure and dispossession, but it followed a physical erasure and dispossession. Jordan only controlled this area after they forcibly expelled 40,000 Jews from Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria. And when they renamed it West Bank, this was linguistically an attempt to create a linguistic record of that erasure, that dispossession, their process of creating a Yud in Rhine territory where Jews were not allowed to live, where there was a death penalty for an Arab who sold land to Jews. That law still is in place in Jordan today and in the Palestinian Authority. So not only is Judea and Samaria the right name for historical reasons and truth reasons, but the name West Bank should be rejected as we reject discrimination and ethnic cleansing. Thank you.
Okay, so the point there is that the term West Bank is an erasure term, and our enemies have many different ways to try to erase us. They try to erase our bodies with the Holocaust. They try to erase our memories by changing the names of places. Hadrian tried to change the name of Jerusalem. Imagine being a Roman guy and being like, I know, the way to do it is let's erase the name of Jerusalem altogether. And the Arabs do that all the time. The jihad does that all the time. They change the name of Jerusalem to Al-Quds, the name of Hebron to Khalil. They're very good at that. They are the ultimate cultural appropriators. They just like take it to themselves, rename it, and it's really a very powerful effort, and yet it shall not succeed. No, it shan't. Am Yisrael knows its history, but there are forces out there that want you to forcibly forget and to attack the youth. And by attacking the youth, they erase their minds, and then they make somebody who would be naturally pro-Israel to be anti-Israel, and we should not allow that. We should not stand for that. So thank you very much, Jake Bennett. We just had two great guests on, right? Ambassador Huckabee and Jake Bennett. Do you feel like doing some bad? You feel like doing some Israel haters? Let's do some Israel haters. We'll get the juice flowing. Okay, let's do this. All right, let's do this. This is called the systematic strategy behind a West Bank media. Okay, this is the haters doing what they do, which is what Jake was just talking about, which is to create Judea and Samaria into West Bank and to create the Jews into an evil, to repaint and reframe the Jews as an evil entity that doesn't belong in the heartland. Let's take a look.
While the world watches Gaza, another conflict burns relentlessly here in the West Bank. The land was intended to form the heart of a future Palestinian state. Instead,
it was? This land was supposed to be a future Palestinian state? I thought it was supposed to be the heartland of the Jewish people. I never thought that it was supposed to be a future Palestinian state. No. That's not in my history books and not in my Bible either.
It has been under military occupation for more than 50 years.
It's true. It has been under military occupation because the Jordanians took our land, and then we started liberating it, and we're still in the process of liberating it. But before that, it was always recognized as Jewish land, the heartland of the Jewish people. Before that, Jordan stole it away from us, and we liberated it 50 years ago. The only thing is we haven't fully annexed it, and that's a mistake.
Hills, Israeli settlements spread. Illegal under international.
Israeli settlement spread? You mean beautiful Jewish communities? When you show me this footage of this tractor and this house, the only thing I could think of is I wish I had helped buy that tractor. I wish I could have helped that apartment building be built. That's the only thing I could think about. Can I have this much of a touch onto these projects? Thank you so much, anti-Israel media channel, for showing us this beautiful footage of the Jewish people returning to the land, the heartland of the land of Israel.
National law, but funded and protected by the state. Since October 7th, 2023.
It's not illegal under international law. We're the proper returnees of the Jewish people. We are the proper owners of this land. This whole business of international law is because the Arabs and others have taken over the UN and have made the UN say what they want. It's like, they're able to get the UN to the ventriloquists of the UN.
There has been a surge of settler violence.
But okay, wait, what? What? Let's see that again. Hold on.
Law, but funded and protected by the state. Since October 7th, 2023.
Since October 7th, no mention of what October 7th is.
There has been a surge of settler violence, land seizures, and demolitions.
There has been more demolitions, thank God. There has definitely been more demolitions because our nationalist government is finally waking up to the fact that if we are going to hold on to this land, we got to push the bad guys back.
A conflict shaped by decades of tension is hurtling towards a breaking point.
They're always telling us it's hurling towards a breaking point. They're always telling us it's hurling towards a breaking point. It's hurling towards a breaking point. Maybe it's actually hurling towards a solution point. Did you ever think about that? That we're actually getting where the Jewish people are settling the land, and now our government, and there's been, by the way, been a big announcement today that the government is taking away all kinds of bureaucracy for Jews to purchase land in Judea and Samaria. So yeah, our state is finally waking up to the simple fact that this is the heartland of the Holy Land, and we got to own it and control it and govern it.
The story of a front line that shapes life in Palestine, how the West Bank came to be, who the settlers shaping its future are, and what is at stake for the people once promised a Palestinian land.
Which Times is this, please? Which Times is this? The London Times? Which Times is who put this video out? Okay. And I love this thing. It's like, oh, it was promised to Palestine. I mean, speaking of promises, who has this land been promised to? I know it's the people that they call this land the promised land. But you see, they flip it all on their head, don't they? They just flip it all on their head. They just tell you the Times explains that it's been promised to the other guys. What a great newspaper you must be that you're explaining to them that the promised land is promised to somebody else. Silly.
In 1947.
Okay, see this Palestine Session Opens business? That was the name for the Jewish, that was the name for Israel back then.
The UN decided to partition what was known as Mandatory Palestine into an Arab state and a Jewish state as a result of increasing tensions between Arabs and Jews.
Okay, just let the fallacy here is huge, and it's very important to knock this out. First thing is, the Arabs had been terrorizing the Jewish returnees to the land for 20, 30 years before the UN decided this. At the time, in the early 1900s, the British, who really controlled the world, recognized Jewish rights in the land of Israel and started restoring Jewish rights in the land of Israel, came out with the Balfour Declaration. And then at the end of World War I, the League of Nations recognized the British idea to reform a Jewish state in the San Remo Accords and in the Mandate for Jewish Palestine. So that was what was happening then. Then that body was disbanded, and then a much more Arab-centered body, the United Nations, was born. And this body had a general session. What's it called? Not a Security Council, but a general plenum, and they made recommendations which they affirmed. They did not make a decision. It was not binding in any way. It was just a resolution. So they resolved that they agreed with the commission that wanted to split up, but the Arabs rejected it. They went to war immediately. It was a non-binding resolution, and so all this stuff that the UN decided is a sham. The UN really didn't decide. It was already decided a long time beforehand. On top of that, remember, there are 22 Arab countries, right? And this was the only Jewish state on its ancestral homeland, and the Arabs wanted to reject it. So this idea of like partitioning this thing was just a way to allow the Arabs to make war against Israel and to destroy it.
And Great Britain, which had controlled much of the region after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, was ready to hand over this escalating situation to someone else. In 1948,
no, they were willing to hand it over to a Jewish Israel, and that was the way that they originally thought about it. But then they started reneging because of Arab oil. Okay, so this is the Sunday Times. Okay, I mean, the Sunday Times. We know what London is. We know that it's an Arab state today, right? I have an Arab living in London. He writes to me all the time. He's like, Shabbat Shalom from Londonistan. Okay, we know what that is. But like, look at the way that they erase the fact that Israel had a first temple here and a second temple here, and then was recognized as the indigenous people of this land. Like, all that is erased. All they could tell you is, yeah, there was a little bit of a Jewish state. There was supposed to be a Palestine. They're not going to even tell you that the Arabs attacked Israel and tried to destroy Israel. They're not going to even give you the full story. Let's see.
After Israel declared independence, war engulfed the region. By the time the guns fell silent a year later.
You see that crap? You see that? Israel declared a state. There were guns in the region until it fell silent. You mean the Arab world tried to destroy the little fledgling Jewish state after the Holocaust? Oof. What a liar you are. What a liar and wordsmith of lies you are. You just erased the Jewish story there, right? You erased the Arab complicity in the Nazi idea of a final solution. You could have been like, oh, yeah. And Hajj Amin al-Husseini was a serious jihadi Nazi, and he tried to destroy the Jews. And they tried in 1948 to really kill the Jews, and they almost succeeded. But, the promise made thousands of years ago by God to the Jewish people that he will bring them back is coming to fruition, and the world recognized that. No, none of that. None of the complicity of Nazism by the jihad forces, and not the heroism of Israel to hold back against the guns. The guns. Okay. The guns are the guns of the jihad.
Israel held most of the land. Egypt took Gaza. Jordan took the West Bank and East Jerusalem.
They took it by fighting Israel and splitting up Jerusalem, this fake country called Jordan. Okay. This fake country called Jordan, which was British led. All right. Almost destroyed Israel, but took a huge chunk. They took our heartland.
Around 750,000 Palestinians had fled or been forced from their homes. An exodus remembered by the Palestinians.
Do you see this? Like, there's no mention of the war that they made against Israel. The numbers are way inflated, but that's besides the point. The point is that they were trying to kill Israel. So of course they had to leave. You can't have people who want to destroy you stay in your land. You know, that's normal rules of war. They tried to destroy us. And some of them had to leave.
Palestinians as the Nakba, or catastrophe.
So they call it the catastrophe because they lost the war to destroy Israel.
Then, 20 years later, Israel captured the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan in this.
Right, like as though Arab armies from Egypt and Syria and Jordan weren't amassing to destroy the Jewish state, as though they didn't say we're going to finish off the work of Hitler. Like Israel captured this land. Do you see how framing here is everything? Like this whole video is just a sham lie. It doesn't even tell you that the Arabs amassed to kill the Jews and the Jews defended and pushed back the Arabs. By the way, when you win land in a defensive war, then you get to keep that land. That's a basic principle of international law.
6-Day War. This would mark the start of Israeli occupation.
1960s.
This would mark the start of Israeli return. I'm already starting to get tired of this video. It's just like lie after lie. Every sentence is a lie.
Everything changed. Within 6 days, Israel occupied the entire Sinai Peninsula, the West Bank, Gaza, and the Golan Heights.
In 1993,
So in 6 days, Israel recouped its land, liberated it from Egypt, from Jordan, from Syria, and held on to it. That was good. That was a really good thing. And what Israel should have done is annexed it, gotten rid of the jihadis, and made a big and beautiful and bold and badass Jewish state. Sadly, this next screen is very sad for me.
after decades of attempting to manage the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza, the Oslo Accords were signed.
It was supposed to be a transitional arrangement between the Israelis and the Palestinians about moving it towards some form of Palestinian governance.
The Oslo Accords.
Right. The way she said it is relatively true, which is that there was really never a vision of a Palestinian state in the Oslo Accords. They wanted some kind of Palestinian autonomy. And look at this guy. Here's a pedophile, jihadi, Nazi, Jew hater, and many other bad things that this man did. And, not to mention corrupt of every kind of nature. Meaning to say he died with millions in his bank account. So we're talking about a really evil person. That's Yasser Arafat. Tfu.
Carved the West Bank into 3 zones. Area A, run by the Palestinian Authority. Area B, which had shared control. And Area C, the largest, under full Israeli control.
Why do you think that Israel wanted that? Because we always had a vision that we would come back and control this land. They just didn't want to control a large Arab population, which was a mistake. But the point is that even under the Oslo Accords, it was clear that this is an Israeli territory.
There's been quite a clash in terms of the visions of peace between the two sides.
They gave themselves 5 years to deal with all the outstanding issues, with all the core issues of refugees, of Jerusalem as the capital, its border, settlements.
Palestinians envision sovereignty. The Israelis really don't envision giving them more than autonomy over really tiny patches.
That's right. And they shouldn't have done that either. They should have never given any autonomy, certainly to a jihadi anti-Israel entity, but really to anybody. This is our land, and we're not here. We don't even have the right to give that autonomy to anybody else.
The start of right-wing move of politics in Israel.
And that shift to the right began to embolden a determined group, settlers.
In the West Bank, Palestinians are...
I just want to tell you, I am a settler. I am a proud settler. I'm a settler. I'm a proud settler. I'm resettling. I'm a resettler, resettling the heartland of the land of Israel with the help of God. Pushing back in Palestine. No doubt this land is mine because God has given it to us. He wants us to develop it and make it shine. So I'm a proud resettler. The land is mine because the land is bequeathed to us by God and history. And now it's time to gather the exiles into this land. Palestine, got no time. Palestine is a crime. Can't have that on my land. That is a bad band, the jihad band, and we can't let them play music on our land here.
facing threats from Israeli settlers who seek to push them out.
President Joe Biden has approved sanctions on 4 Israeli.
Exactly. Biden, who's a lefty sellout, okay, a corrupt, senile Israel hater from the 70s. We knew that he was an Israel hater. Yes, he sanctioned Israeli settlers, right? Not the jihadis. And that was quickly overturned by President Trump. Thank God.
Settlers accused of attacking Palestinians in the occupied West Bank.
Across the West Bank, communities are rising in places where previous agreements outlined they would not. Settlements are Israeli villages built on occupied Palestinian territory. And
No. At least she said Israeli villages. Look at that village. That just looks good. That looks good. Is that a frat? Where is that? That's a beauty. She's a beaut. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at those red roof houses in the Holy Land. Look how beautiful it looks. At least I didn't put the dark filter on this. I love it. Just look at that. That is just beautiful. I could look at that all day. The rebirth of the Jewish people in the heartland of the land of Israel. Thank you. Crimes of London.
Considered illegal under international law. As of March.
Whoa, great explanation. It's considered illegal under international law. It's just that cut and dry. Well, there's a lot of people in international law. There's a lot of voices. And the bottom line is no. There's a lot of dissent. Of course, the land is ours, for God's sakes. We're the indigenous people. This is part of the original mandate and certainly part of the mandate of God. It's not illegal under international law. It's illegal under the kind of international law that's run by, a group of people and their friends who want to isolate Israel through lawfare.
2025, there are 147 settlements spread across the West Bank and East.
Oh, yeah. Even more. Come on. Woo! Look at those little dots. We need more of them.
Jerusalem. The movement has transformed into an extreme entity.
Why extreme? Extremely loving the land. Look at that. Look at this extremist. Look at he's learning Torah on a rock. Woo! We're extremely in love with our land. That word extremist is there to scare us. Ooh, extremist. Extremist. What's this? Let's sponsor you a gold chain so you could freestyle. I don't even need a gold chain. I'm just going to do that. Okay. But check this out. Look at this extremist. Look, at least they didn't put the dark filter on this thing. I'm loving that. At least they didn't put the dark filter. That's good. Okay. Because this don't look like no extremist. Looks like a nice young boy learning the Torah on a rock in Judea.
Driving under state protection.
The settler movement itself, they are very much abetted by an entire system, whether that's the police, the army, the courts, the government itself.
You see? Yes, correct. See, you gotta know when to not fight your enemies. When your enemies say something smart, you gotta be like, yes. Like she's like, the settlers are backed by the state, the police, the army, the courts, and the government. Yep, exactly. That's exactly right. Our country backs us up because our country sees that we're right, and we are voters, and we're making our country more to the nationalistic side, and we represent the majority opinion of Israel. Yes, and I just want to teach you this trick. You got to listen carefully when your enemies are talking, because sometimes they'll say things, and you got to be like, "That's right, that's exactly right." The majority, and then because later they're going to be like, "No, the majority of Israelis are against it." You got to be like, "No, you said it. Israel is with the settlement movement, resettlement movement." That's right. The majority of voters are with the so-called settlement movement. That's right. I'm just meaning to say, pay attention and listen to when your enemies actually admit things that are very important. Don't always be ready to say no. Sometimes be ready to say yes.
The presence in the government of Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, the national security minister.
Who both work... The national security minister, that means the minister of Israeli police, and the minister of treasury, the treasury minister, they are both nationalists. Do you understand that? That means that these two men have high positions of power in the Israeli government. They work very closely. So you can say, like, these two men are extremists. They represent major institutions in Israel, and they're doing a great job.
And the finance minister, they are both settlers themselves.
You bet they are.
They are advancing policies that are contributing to what we see now.
That's correct. See, say it with me. That's right. Our elected representatives are moving forward the policy that we want. You see how easy this is when you just listen carefully? It's like, yes, look at the text says. The time has come to apply Israeli sovereignty to Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Bank.
עת להחיל את הריבונות הישראלית ביהודה ושומרון, להוריד מן הפרק אחת ולתמיד את רעיון חלוקת הארץ הקטנטנה שלנו.
You see, to forever get rid of the idea of dividing our land, okay?
והקמת מדינת טרור במרכזה.
And establishing a terrorist state at its heart, at its center, okay? There you go. Yes. See? Great job, Betzalel. You're saying it right.
Today, more than 700,000 Israelis.
See, sometimes they put dark music and dark visuals. In this case, I'm very happy because they only put the dark music. But look at the visuals. Just put happy music here. La la la. Am Israel Chai.
Settlers live in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Most seek affordable housing and easy commutes to Israeli cities.
Oh, really? Really? What are you trying to say with that? You're trying to say that it's that people want a decent life, so they move to Judea and Samaria, but they're not ideological. Listen to me. We have ideological people. We have people who want to be here from economics. It really doesn't matter because we have every right to be here. And if it's cheaper housing here and better air because it's in the mountains, well, great. That's good also. You know, nothing wrong with that. It's like saying he married her only because she's a great cook, a great conversationalist, is beautiful, and is a good mom. You know, yeah, all those things are good. All those things are good. There's nothing wrong with people wanting to live here because it's cheaper housing. Good. Affordability is good.
But some are driven by religious nationalist ideology.
Yeah, religious nationalist ideology. Sounds scary, but I think it's actually kind of nice. Religious and nationalist. Both of those good things.
Beyond official settlements, a new wave of outposts have surged. Makeshift camps built on hilltops in occupied Palestinian territory.
No, they're really nascent Jewish communities, farming communities on ancestral Jewish land.
It's often just caravans or vehicles or huts.
What do you like? Look at this lady. I don't usually use this term, but like, what a Karen she is. It's like she's like a white woman going to tell us how the Israelis are occupying. Why don't you just go back to your little London and have some coffee somewhere? What are you even dealing with our issues for? I know you don't give a hoot about the 50,000 Iranians murdered in the streets. I know you don't give a hoot. You know, this white colonialist lady, who's got what to say about Judea and Samaria because she's a Palestine lover. Why don't you just go? Why don't you deal with the problems in London or show that you care about something else? We know what you're about. You're just about shrinking Israel and hating on the Jews, and your cudgel is so-called Palestine.
And that will be what is called an illegal outpost.
They start as illegal, doing illegal things.
Their start is illegal, but doing illegal things like making a farm on an empty piece of land that belongs to Israel. Okay, so now that is illegal. Okay, because I don't like it. Okay, so I say you word illegal, though it's very little to do with law.
And then, in due course, the government legalizes.
So actually, they become legal. So the thing I said a minute ago, not true because they are actually legal through the government making legal, they make the law. So actually, they are not illegal.
And then they become a settlement.
Groups like the Hilltop.
All right, we have Israel Bethel writes, "Free Palestine, you are free to go indeed." Ha ha ha. All right, thank you very much, and thank you for that super chat.
Youth are notorious for this.
They are repeat offenders. They are known to the Israeli establishment, and nothing has been done to rein in their capacity.
They're probably one of the most dangerous group of settlers.
Okay, I know a lot of Hilltop youth. I know a lot of nascent farmers, and I want to tell you something. The vast majority of them are law-abiding, working with the army, working against the real danger and threat, which is the jihad, the Euro-funded jihad in our land. That is what we're really dealing with, okay? There is a minority that is, let's say out of control. They're dealt with by the police. But the bottom line is these kids are heroic, okay? They're really holding on to the land of Israel, and I think that they're heroic, and they're pushing back on very scary jihad.
Because they stop at nothing, and with complete impunity.
The number of outposts.
I don't know what that picture was. I think most likely it looked like training of some kind. I have no idea what that video was. Certainly didn't look like he was shooting real bullets there.
Has continued to increase. violence has also escalated. In the same period,
violence escalates because most of these kids have to push back on jihadism. Okay. And I don't know how escalated it is. I don't see it. I'm driving here in the roads between Gush Etzion and Hebron every day, and I don't see it escalated.
612 Palestinians and 24 Israelis were killed in clashes in the West Bank.
Clashes? You mean terrorists are shot by the IDF? Is that the image that you're showing? Look, they were talking about settlers. Now they're showing you soldiers, super soldiers, dealing with jihadi Arabs in bad places like Jenin.
It made the headlines when Audeh Hatalin, a Palestinian teacher who helped film the Oscar-winning documentary No Other Land, was shot dead during a confrontation with settlers. The man accused of shooting him, Enon Levi, claimed self-defense and was ultimately freed after 3 days of house arrest.
Okay, so, right, you see, I don't even know the story very well, but like even they have to admit, like, yeah, he claimed self-defense because they were trying to kill him, and that he pushed back on these guys because that's what happens in the Middle East. When you push somebody around, they're going to push back.
He's a settler sanctioned by the UK and the European Union. For Palestinians in the West Bank, land is not the only contentious issue. There are many restrictions to their daily lives.
Why do you think that the so-called Palestinians in so-called Palestine have restrictions? Is it because they have jihadism? Because they have hundreds of thousands of illegal weapons? What do you think happened in Gaza? We took our eyes off of Gaza and look what happened, right? So what do you know? The thing to really do is to evacuate all the jihadis out of our land. But Israel's not doing that yet. But what do you think? What you're seeing here is to make sure that there's not going to be an October 7th? That's exactly what the Israeli army is doing in these Arab-dominated areas where jihad is rampant. By the way, when I say rampant, but not at all, every Arab there is jihadi, not at all. There's tons of Arabs that want to be freed by the jihad, from the jihad, but we know that they are the ones that are always terrorized by the jihad. Just like when Hamas took over Gaza again recently, what did they do? The first thing they did was to kill pro-Israel Arabs. But these lefties, they never talk about them. Right. The silent group suffering are the Arabs that want a normal life. These jihadi people are oppressing them. Exactly right. It's exactly right. There's a lot of oppressed Arabs. And actually, I don't think Israel's doing enough to liberate them, personally.
In fact, it is that buses that, only Jewish people can use, or roads that only they can use.
Are you joking me, bro? There are humongous towns in Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Banks, that Jews are not allowed into. They're not allowed into. Racism is a jihadi basic principle. The Mahmoud Abbas has said many times, we're going to make this land Judenrein. What are you talking about? How backwards can you be? How sellout can you be?
And checkpoints that, Palestinians can wait for hours.
Checkpoints, most of the time, are both Jewish. Jews also have to wait in these same checkpoints. But yeah, that's what happens when you have a terrorist entity trying to sneak bombs and weapons into your mainland.
And young soldiers can decide if you can go and visit your family and friends.
Good. Who else is going to decide? We have young soldiers holding the line, like Yo's son.
The Israeli military will take a buffer zone away from your land to provide for the settlement, even if that's your private land.
That's what happens when you are a terrorist ideology. That's what happens when you have jihadism in the land. That's what happens when you don't want to cooperate with the governing state.
Home demolitions can sometimes serve.
Home demolitions come because of Arab land grabbing and squatting, which is totally what they do. They put up these houses in 2 weeks on land that they captured.
As a form of collective punishment.
Relax, Karen. Feed your cats. That's what I'm saying. This lady's the real, there's the, and she's such a British, they have these things sometimes where they these she's like a colonialist. You know what I mean? She's going to tell us everything. She's going to tell us, somebody just wrote something, made me laugh. Yishai, stop speaking so much common sense. You're confusing the mob. And we're only in the halftime show here. All right, let's get back to the Sunday Times narrative of Israel not belonging in the land of Israel.
Or sometimes they don't really need to give much of a reason at all. And it's not just home demolitions, it's also sometimes internal civic infrastructure like water lines, sanitation, healthcare facilities.
Palestinian.
Yeah, Israel's trying to shut down sanitation. I mean, I have so much to say about this, but let me just say that south of Hebron, there is a river of sewage flowing through our biblical hills. Why? Because the PA refused to use a water treatment plant that the Europeans built because the Jews also use it. So they refused to use it. So they have no problem just literally making the beautiful hills of Judea putrid with sewage because they don't want the water to be cleansed and also benefit the Jews. I mean, the amount of poisoning that they do on the daily basis, it's just so sick. I was down there and I just saw this like just river. And I was like, this is a nice looking place to have like a river through the mountains. It's going right through these kind of mountains. And it was just sewage when we got close. I could already tell from a distance because there was nothing growing around it. And so this is such a lie that it's Israel that not giving you water. Israel is the system that brings the water in. Okay. But these guys, they don't want to love this land. They want to desecrate this land.
Livelihoods are also heavily threatened in the West Bank. The harvesting of olive trees.
All right. So now we're going to get the classic, the Arab is the indigenous ancient person of this land, and this big white colonialist army is stopping you from doing that ancient rite of olive picking. And this has been a very effective kind of narrative. Obviously, part of how they do Palestine is by sending out the simple farmer and sending out that simple, like we're the indigenous. And sadly, Israel falls to this as well, because we don't put out enough images of our indigenous olive picking. And the olive oil of the land of Israel was legend in the ancient world. And we're making olive oil today as well. But they've managed to kind of hold on to this, narrative, the narrative that they're the pickers of the olives in the region. And every year they make a big conflict out of it. And it's all Euro junk sponsored. Okay, Eurotrash sponsored.
Has long been a flashpoint between Palestinians and settlers.
It's a cultural moment. I think it's an annual cultural moment. And
see, it's an annual cultural moment. They're going to ride this thing all the way, and they're going to say, you see, they're the ancient peoples of this land. They're not going to tell you that the British, the Arabs, most of them came to the land of Israel in the 30s and 40s because Israel provided an economy. They're not going to tell you that the Arabs tried to destroy the Jewish people and been terrorizing us for hundreds of years. They're not going to give you all that story. They're not going to tell you that in 1267, the Mamluks, the Arab Mamluks came to Hebron and kicked us out of the Tomb of the Patriarchs and Matriarchs, which is our building. And it took 700 years for us to be able to return. No, they're going to give you this whole narrative of these people who are the indigenous, they're the farmers, and this big white army is terrorizing them.
Picking of olives and the pressing of olives, and it becomes a bit of a community activity. What we tend to see is the destruction of land, olive trees, equipment.
An already poor harvesting season this year.
There is very little of that happening, but there's much more happening of encroachment of Arabs trying to get close to communities, planting next to communities. Here in my community, that happens all the time. In fact, I want to tell you that there were these Euro funded. How do we know Euro funded? Because it still had like Euro tags, olive saplings that were planted right next to my town. We went down there and pulled them out because they were planting it on our land to get close to our land and to scorch us in. You know what I did with those? I pulled them out and I brought them home and I planted them in a jar, and now I've already put them out in the settlements so that these olive trees, Euro sponsored, would be our olive trees. So I've allowed this olive tree not to be handled by the Euro trash and the jihad, but rather I took them in and planted them with love as a Jewish tree in the land of Israel.
In 2025 was marred by extreme settler violence.
Oh, come on. Extreme and settler and violence. 3 words, all negative, right?
Don't hit her! Hey! Don't hit her, he yells. Hey! But the man does. Hey! This is an Israeli settler beating Palestinian farmers in the occupied West Bank village of Turmasai.
And it was a very shocking image.
You didn't see the other, right? You didn't see the person being beaten or anything like that. It's not clear. And it's not clear who attacked who. That's the thing. They are masters of giving you just the clip the second part of the clip. They never show you the constant attacks. They never show you how, farmers that are my friends are under attack all the time. They tell me about the stuff. So they never show you this stuff. They only show you the other side. They're masters of clipping whatever they want to show you. You can see this whole thing has never been about. Here's Karen right there. You never got the whole time. There's never any Arab violence. And by the way, there's no jihad in this whole video, right? From the slimes of London. They have not one video, not one word in this video that says to you, oh yeah, there's this jihad thing. No, it's just farmers. They don't tell you that they made wars against the Jews. They don't tell you that they, worked with the Nazis. They don't tell you that they have a Hamas jihad ideology. October 7th is just a date, but nothing really happened. They hide the truth. They lie about the truth. They don't tell you their ideology. So how could you trust this, Karen? You can't.
But, I think that these things do happen all the time. You could see this mob of settlers sort of coming and descending on the villagers.
The message is for them, you don't belong. And if you think you belong here, we will make your life impossible.
So what is the solution to...
I think the message is that jihad does not belong here. I think that's true. I think there should be a message like that. The jihad does not belong here. If I was being interviewed right now and they said to me, Yishai, is the message you don't belong here to the Arabs? I'd be like, no, the message is jihad doesn't belong here. Hate of Israel does not belong in our borders or on our borders. That's true. We're going to push back on that.
Ever worsening situation in the West Bank? And how can lasting change be implemented?
There has to be outside intervention because Israel currently has got no appetite or reason to compromise.
In the perfect scenario.
It's true. We don't have an appetite to compromise. You see, if I was being interviewed and they said to me, well, do you have an appetite to compromise? I'd be like, no. Why should I compromise my tiny little Jewish state, tiny baby little tiny size Jewish state in the Middle East and give half of it to the jihad? Why would I give away my ancestral homeland? Would Arabs give away their land? Of course not. So why would I give my land to the jihad, which is going to use it against me? Why would I give away my heartland? Why? Of course not. I don't have an appetite. Do I have an appetite for compromise? No. After hundreds of years of persecution and thousands of years of not being on my land, why would I want to give away my land to my haters? That's dumb. Yeah, Israel does not have an appetite for compromise. That's true.
As things stand now, you would have the international community act as a deterrent where it would...
Oh, look, it's the Europeans. They're going to fix everything around here. We should listen to them. They're wise, the Europeans. They're really doing well also in their lands, right? You know what I mean? Here, Sivan says it's not about land, it's about the caliphate. Well, the caliphate is in Iran. The caliphate's in the European Union. There they are right there. Okay, we're going to trust these guys, these colonialists. They're going to be the smart ones because they went to the Sorbonne.
Rein Israel's capacity.
Ooh, the UN, one of the most ineffective bodies that has ever been created. What an international joke the UN is. By the way, any organization that starts with the word un, like they have all these uns, UNRWA, un is to undo, right? Like, just don't trust anybody called un. He's not a builder, he's an un, right? Okay, let's keep going.
Where Palestinians that have been displaced in the West Bank would be allowed to return back.
Displacement? 50,000 Iranians been killed in the streets. 10 million Syrian residents have been displaced towards Turkey and towards Europe. Okay? You want to talk about displacement around here? You want to talk about displacement? Just when Hamas took over now in Gaza, did you see them killing people in the streets? I mean, you want to talk about displacement? You want to talk about displacement? You have this thing called the jihad. It is the displacer. Not to mention the million Jews that were kicked out from Arab countries with the birth of Israel. They are the masters of displacement.
Where a lot of those sort of disruptions, like makeshift checkpoints and barriers, will be removed.
Or you can offer them an alternative in which innocent people won't be killed on a daily basis.
Innocent people are not killed on a daily basis. Okay? Innocent people, like when you hear this guy talking, it's like innocent people are literally not being killed on a daily basis. It's rare to hear that somebody gets killed here in Judea and Samaria. And when they do, it's oftentimes when the army takes out terrorists. So just this language, innocent people being killed on a daily basis. That's simply not true. Simply a lie to make this video and to make you be like, whoa, Israel's bad.
And people won't be imprisoned or kidnapped and the rest. I'm optimistic because I think
what? People won't be imprisoned and kidnapped? The only kidnapped people is by the jihad. Give the jihad the power over your land, and guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? There's going to be kidnapped Jews.
this is possible, but it's possible.
Look at this. Look at this imagery, this sick imagery, where the United States brings an arch terrorist to the White House lawn and a Jewish leader who's willing to renege on the Jewish land, on the promise of the land of Israel. And this sick moment of Oslo, this is a horrific picture on the screen. Land of Israel being given away by Jews, like the sin of the spies, jihadists getting empowered, and all under the guise of America. And where did it all end? It all ended in horrific bloodshed. Oslo has never given any peace to the Jews or the Arabs. The Arabs are always complaining to me. They're like, you brought these jihadists to take over this land. It was your idea, you and the Americans. Look what you've done. You've brought no peace to us. You've brought us. Our kids are being brainwashed. Our money's being stolen. Our people are being tortured by the PA. And this is what the Times, Sunday Times, is telling you. This is what's supposed to be good. Pathetic, really pathetic, and and has nothing to do with what the people of the region actually want. Nobody wants this. Ask anybody, any Arab, even an anti-Israel Arab. Do they like Mahmoud Abbas, who's this guy's Yasser Arafat's continuation? They say we hate this guy. He's totally corrupt. The whole thing's a sham.
But only we put our mind to it, and there are the forces there of can make a better.
Wait, is the word peace coming back soon any moment now?
So, a better Israel, Palestine, a better world generally. You look at the world around and you have some question marks about this ability. But all wars come to an end. It's just a question.
All wars come to an end. That's just another way of saying peace. And instead of recognizing the real enemies of this region, which is the jihad, instead of recognizing that Israel is going to be here forever, this whole program was geared to do one thing: to shrink Israel. To shrink Israel, both physically and in your mind out there. That's what the Sunday Times is trying to sell you.
It's the cost on the way.
Okay, well, the Sunday Times. Well, they should be absolutely ashamed of this ridiculous, 9 minutes of propaganda junk that will bring no goodness. Yes, Yo is on the line.
Do you want to see my revised edit of the Super Bowl ad? Did you see it? I think you were too busy today. No, the one that I made.
Okay,
I made one myself.
Go ahead. Sure.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna upload it. Hang on a second.
Okay, let's see it. Okay, in the meantime, Yo, so we're looking forward to seeing that. In the meantime, folks, this is your alternative to the Super Bowl, and I want to wish you blessings. Let's see some more good stuff from Yo, and here we go.
Bro, look at it. Did you see that? Should we tell him? So bad. Oh my gosh. It's not funny. Stop.
Okay, so the point of that video, the Yocheved cut on that, is that that boy who's being bullied in high school. By the way, he's also in a non-Jewish high school, it seems like, or a mixed high school, right? His he like gets the the dirty Jew sticker, the sticky note on his back, and then what does he do? He flies to Israel and becomes a man by joining the IDF. I love it. I love it. I love that. I think that's just beautiful. And like this guy, instead of being that wimpy Jew, becomes this like strong Jew, Jewishly, strong Jew physically. He can become a man in his own land. Very good. You see that? Okay, so we had a few different versions, but this was, of course, the best version. This is the biggest version. Okay, this is the biggest version. Wow. Like, hey, they called me Dirty Jew in high school. I got on that airplane. I became a soldier in the IDF. Bang! Oh my God. Imagine if that was on the Super Bowl. Imagine if what the Super Bowl called for, the ad on the Super Bowl was, come to Israel and join the army. It would have been awesome, right? Believe me, you know who would have joined? Tons of Gentiles. Tons of Gentiles would be like, I want to join that IDF. I want to be part of that army. Hold on. Who-wee? Do you have to be Jewish to join that army? Could I join as well? Could I fight for those Jewish people, for the Bible, for God? Right? I could have seen a lot of people do that. But certainly a lot of Jewish people be like, you could have stayed like wimpy. Or you could become something great and strong and use the dirty Jew thing to make you even stronger, to make our nation stronger. And believe me, when you're done, nobody's going to be saying dirty Jew. They're going to be saying that Israel's amazing. That Israel's amazing. Love that. Love that video, yo. Great cut. Genius, brilliant, awesome. Wow. Woo! Imagine if during the Super Bowl today, it would have been that ad. Imagine that. Hey, young Jew, don't stand for that. Come to the Holy Land. Become a fighter for the IDF. Wow. That would have been mind-blowing. Now, and what about the residency? How many people would have been like, yes, instead of just like, sheesh. Like this little, like, what? Like Woody Allen, hope some guy comes and defends me. It's like David, and now Goliath is protecting me. That's not the story. That's not the story. I'm David. I'm being abused. Oh, look, Goliath is here to stop the other guys from abusing me. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. All right. Thank you very much, Corey, for supporting Tractors to the Land of Israel. And Israel Bethel, we have a right to self-defense, and we will do it, buddy. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, my dear friends, my beloved friends, I want to wish you, I think this right here says it all. You see, strong arm, lion, heart, Israel heart. I would have also added, the blessing hands. That's the way I think when I see that little blessing hands thing, I think to myself, what it means is blessings of God. Rodrigo says, let our guns do the talking, but I think it also means let our God do the talking. And I have a new slogan that I'm going to post the slogan right now. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. I'm just going to make a new banner right now. Tell me if you agree with this banner. Here we go. Just tell me here. Wait for it. Here's my new banner. I'm adding it. 1 second. Make God great again. He's bringing the Jewish people back home. He's doing great things. Let's make God great again by being that strong Jewish people. Strong militarily, strong economically, strong spiritually. All those three are correct. All those three. They do not only do they not conflict, they are in total harmony. They are the Holy Trinity. The Trinity is a strong Israeli economy, a strong Israeli military, a strong spiritual Israel with Jerusalem at its heart. And by the way, the inner Trinity of the Jewish people is the Torah of the land of Israel, the love of the Jewish people, and the love of the land of Israel. Love the land of Israel, love of the Jewish people, and love of the study of Torah and following the Torah. That's our internal. That's the real Trinity. Okay, obviously there's no Trinity to God. He is one. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. He is one. He is one and unified. But if there is a triad of philosophy, that's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's I can go further, but the bottom line is the love of Torah, the love of the Jewish people, the love of the land of Israel. That is the triad of the Jewish people. All right, my good friends, I want to wish you blessings from the land of blessings, and I want to invite you to come to Yishai Fleisher TV. Please like, subscribe, comment, become a member, get stuff from our web store and Yishai Fleisher TV. Malka Fleisher created stuff. Remember, you're part of the Liberation Nation when you are plugged into Israel. You are plugged into something amazing. If you want me to come to your neighborhood and your community and your congregation, you can write me an email, yishai@yishaifleisher.com. And I will be flying out to Florida this week. I will be in Florida for a few days and then in New York for a few days. So if you want to connect with me, especially if you have a group and you want to make it the land of Israel strong, you can write to me, yishaifleisher.com. I'm going to America to visit, but I believe in go big and go home. That's what we're doing. We're going big and we're going home to the land of Israel. And I want to wish you blessings on this special day. And I recommend that there is Torah to learn instead of watching the Super Bowl. And there is land of Israel to support instead of wasting time. And there's Jewish people to embrace. Let's use every moment we can to use it properly and strongly and to push forward. Let's broadcast and emanate strength, the strength of the God of Israel, the strength of the land of Israel, the strength of the people of Israel, and the strength of lovers of Israel, our non-Jewish brothers and sisters throughout the world. They are out there. I know you're out there. And I'm sending you blessings because I know you're out there and I know you're doing great work and I know you're doing courageous work. With that, friends, we finish up. We have much more broadcasting to do here at Yishai Fleisher TV. Thank you very much, Yo, for your amazing assistance. May God bless you. May God protect your son, who's a fighter in the IDF. God bless all of you guys wherever you are. Stay tuned, stay strong, stay connected. Lots of love, lots of blessings from the land of blessings, and shalom.